What's going on, guys? I'm Brian and welcome back to the channel. Today we are checking out the ROCCAT TKL Pro. It's a new premium 10 keyless keyboard that's equipped with ROCCAT's newly designed Titan optical switches. Now, for transparency, ROCCAT did send this keyboard out to me for a review, but as I'm sure you guys all know by now, this will not impact my review in any way. So let's start by talking about the new Vulcan keyboard lineup from ROCCAT. Vulcan TKL Pro is going to be one of 3 new keyboards released by ROCCAT. The other 2 are going to be the Vulcan TKL non-pro and then the Vulcan Pro. The Vulcan TKL is basically going to be the mechanical switch version of the TKL Pro, and then the Vulcan Pro is going to be basically the full non-TKL version of the TKL Pro. Unfortunately though, I do only have the TKL Pro, so I can only make comments on this particular keyboard, and that's what we're going to be focusing on here today. So as far as how the prices stack up for each keyboard, the TKL non-pro is going to be the lowest end keyboard in the new stack, and it's going to come in at $130. Then we're going to have the TKL Pro, which is the one that we're looking at here today, and that one comes in at $160. And then finally, we're going to have the Vulcan Pro that's going to come in at a whopping $200. Again, I only have the TKL Pro, so that is what we're focusing on here today. The TKL Pro has basically nothing with it in the box. We have our TKL Pro keyboard, the user manual, as well as a nice removable braided USB-C to USB-A cable. I love this trend from ROCCAT. They had a USB-C on their headphones, the ELO 7.1 Air, and now they have the USB-C on this guy. And I do have one quick comment on their packaging out of all of the products that they've sent to me that I've opened up so far. And not that it matters all that much, but ROCCAT does a great job with their packaging. I don't typically care about packaging all that much because, you know, it's packaging, you unbox it, and that's that. But out of all the products I've unboxed, ROCCAT shows they care so much by the packaging of their products. It shows that they really care about how it looks to their customer and how their customer feels when they open it. Makes you feel like you kind of made a good decision when you buy one of their products. So kudos for them for packing it the way they do. In any case, design-wise, this is going to be a 10 keyless keyboard that has a full brushed aluminum finish that looks absolutely stunning in person. It looks super premium, looks super great, and I don't know if you guys can tell, it's absolutely rock solid build quality wise. This thing doesn't flex like at all. At the top right corner, we're gonna have our volume knob as well as a mute button. The knob has awesome tactile feedback when you're turning it, while the mute button turns red when the system is muted, which is kind of cool. So you can kind of have that visual cue when your system is actually muted. Both feel great in my opinion, but I do kind of have a love-hate relationship with the actual location of the media controls. Over the last several months, I've been using the Drevo Blademaster as my main keyboard, and that keyboard has its media knob on the left-hand side. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with where it is on the TKL Pro, but I will say that I do prefer it, and it just feels better and it's easier to use when it's on the left-hand side. I can use my left hand when I'm just, you know, typing or whatever, and I can just easily scroll it up and down as I need to. Again, this is a preference thing, but that's my thought on that. And the bottom of the keyboard, we're gonna have 3 rubber feet towards the front of the keyboard, as well as 2 rubber kick-out feet towards the back. These are, of course, for stability and to keep your keyboard from moving around while typing on it. It works great, and you won't have to worry about this keyboard sliding all over the place. I also love the incline that is provided, and I feel like it's almost perfect when the feet are actually kicked out. On the top of the keyboard, we're gonna have our 1 USB-C port that powers the entire keyboard, and that's just about it for the non-keycap or switch-based design choices for this guy right here. So with that said, let's start talking about the keycaps and the switches. The TKL Pro has a floating keycap design, and all the keycaps are unfortunately ABS rather than PBT, which is a big bummer for a $160 keyboard. They do look pretty sweet, especially once you have it on and you're actually looking at the RGB, and honestly, it's probably the best RGB I've ever seen on a keyboard. Now, keep in mind that since these keycaps are ABS, we're likely going to see some fading as well as that rough, greasy / shiny look over time. And I've only been using this for a few weeks now, and I can already see some on this shift key, my tab key. I can see them here and there throughout a lot of these keys, which really does kind of stink. You can combat this by replacing the keycaps if you want, but spending more money. And what I noticed by switching out some of the keys were that these ones that have stabilizers, for particularly the space bar, it was just kind of funky when I put different space bars on this one, and I think you'll have a hard time finding just the right keys to fit perfect for this type of board. Underneath the keycaps, we're going to have ROCCAT's new Titan optical switches. They are linear switches with 1.4 millimeters of actuation, and they're going to also be rated for 100 million key presses, which is a lot of key presses. Overall, the switches feel and sound absolutely amazing, although it did take me a little bit of time to adjust to these keys and like the optical feel and everything. But again, I absolutely love the feel of them when I'm using this keyboard. Once I got used to it, it was great. Stabilizers throughout the board are super solid as well, and I found them to be nice and smooth without any rattling whatsoever. The software attached to this keyboard is going to be the ROCCAT Swarm software that they use for all of their peripherals, and overall I think it's just okay. It's fine for a peripheral software. You can do quite a lot when it comes down to customizing your RGB effects, changing what each keystroke does, and then making macros and stuff like that. You'll have to mess around with it for your personal preference, but overall you can basically do whatever any other peripheral software out there can do, and more importantly than anything else, I didn't find it to be crippling at all for this keyboard, which is a great thing because I think that is often overlooked. I've had peripherals where the software just didn't work great with the peripheral and it gave you a big headache and you couldn't do a lot of the features that they were like advertising, and so the fact that this doesn't do that is great. Performance of this keyboard overall is absolutely great. I had no issues with this keyboard in anything I was doing. Productivity work was awesome with this board. Gaming was awesome with this board. Everything was seemingly awesome using it with this board, and I don't think you'll find yourself having any issues using this keyboard at all. It's quick, it's accurate, and comfortable, super comfortable to use for hours at a time. Again, I work, my whole life is at that desk. You know, when I'm working, I'm at that desk using whatever keyboard mouse I'm using, so being comfortable while I'm sitting there is super important to me, and again, this keyboard was able to do that. And so the Vulcan TKL Pro, I don't really have much more to say about it other than it's a great keyboard all around. I'm actually really impressed with this keyboard, and for the price, I think Keycaps could have been a great bump here, and I think they should actually be on here. I think that's the one big takeaway from this keyboard. But other than that, most of the issues I had were personal preference ones, such as like the media controls. I would have liked to see them on the left hand side somewhere, and that's just about it. So like everything else, I felt like this keyboard was really awesome to use and it was really good, and I think ROCCAT did a great job at that $160 price point. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, and if you loved it, be sure to subscribe for more tech content just like this, and don't forget to drop any questions you might have down in the comments below, or go ahead and join our community Discord channel and ask in there, where we have tons of people that want to help out. And again, Discord is absolutely free, so that's always a plus as well. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.